What's up, my beer bros? Maine-iac here with the 10 NFL trades that must happen before the deadline tomorrow. Now, we're starting it off strong because we got 10 trades that can either turn around a franchise this season or turn it around for the long term. And I do like these. All 10 of them I worked hard on that would make sense for both franchises. And hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know if any other trades that you would like to see happen before tomorrow's deadline. If so, hit me up in the comment section down below. I would love to talk to you guys about it. First off, we have Seattle with a huge need at left tackle. And to me, what it looks like, granted, I know the Niners wouldn't enjoy weakening their front line, but I feel like the Niners could use a big weapon on offense to go with those receivers and help out Bethard a little bit. So my first trade is Seattle trades Jimmy Graham and possibly a 5th or 6th round pick just to oil up the gears for the Niners, and they trade for Joe Staley, left tackle of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I believe this trade helps out both teams. It gives Russell Wilson a huge lift on the offensive line. They do have what this could also mean is if they trade away Jimmy Graham, maybe they trade for an Eric Ebron type tight end. I do not know yet, but I would like to see this. It does provide a little bit more firepower for San Francisco. Maybe they use the draft pick at a left tackle, or they use that draft pick to improve the roster somewhere else. I believe throwing in that extra draft pick is what makes this trade work. Now, these are in no particular order, mind you. Next, we have one of my favorite ones that I didn't think of this necessarily, but I do like it. We have Martavis Bryant going to the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm just going to show you, at least Madden rating wise, and I'm going to go over it. Martavis Bryant to the Carolina Panthers for a 4th round pick or somewhere around there. They say, let's just go Russell Shepard. As you can see, that's their 3rd string receiver. They have no Greg Olsen. I believe Martavis Bryant provides a great number 2 to go along with Calvin Benjamin. Maybe he becomes a number 1. But it opens, I believe, up a lot more for Carolina. It would make their offense a lot more potent. They'd have to respect the pass game a lot more. Maybe it opens up the run game even more. And the Steelers getting back a 4th round pick or later, they're usually good with selecting underrated talent, and after that game Juju Smith-Schuster pulled off yesterday, I don't really think Martavis Bryant's going to be happy being number 3, so this is more of a improving the locker room than anything, and from now on I believe Bryant's going to be a toxic nightmare for the Steelers, so get him away, send him to Carolina. That's where they need him, and that's where he should go. A lot of people have him going somewhere else, but I like him going to Carolina. Then next, I just mentioned him not too long ago. We have Eric Ebron, who the Lions are shopping. He has a cap hit of $3.32 million, so that's why I like Madden. It tells me the cap hit, so it helps. And I have him, honestly, I don't know if this is actually a good trade to go with. For some reason I couldn't find tight end, sorry. For some reason, I don't know if this is the best place for him to go, but I do like it. I like Eric Ebron going to the Los Angeles Rams to give them that big punch of a tight end. They do have solid tight ends here, but even if, let's say, compare him to the backup, he's not making much more, but he's a lot better. I'm aware that the ratings don't really show performance, but I believe with Todd Gurley, Sammy Watkins, Cooper Kupp, and all them, a nice, good tight end like Eric Ebron is exactly what the Rams need to make their offense even more deadly. So I'd be a huge fan of that trade. Next, we have Cincinnati Bengals running back. Now, this stemmed from a theory I read in an article that the Bengals are suffering from the same issue that the Saints suffered from. where they have three running backs, and it's kind of hurting them more than it's helping them. So honestly, I have Jeremy Hill going to the Buffalo Bills for, I'm going to say, a 5th or 6th round pick, something like that. Now, I'm just having Taiwan Jones here just to show the two teams. The Bills don't have a lot of cap room, but luckily Jeremy Hill doesn't have a lot of cap space. And I'm going to explain why they could possibly re-sign him if they have to in just a second in one of the later on trades. What does this do? I believe this gives Shady more rest without necessarily costing the Bills as much. I like what Jeremy Hill provides in the receiving game sometimes as well. He's not a bad running back whatsoever. And I looked over other teams and where he would fit. But to me, I believe if, let's say, they did trade for Jeremy Hill, that opens up more 2 running back sets they could do with LaShawn McCoy, Jeremy Hill. Maybe throw Jeremy Hill out wide on some plays with LaShawn in the backfield. Maybe it opens up the play action a little bit more. But overall, I believe if the Buffalo Bills want to get into the playoffs, this is a trade that would definitely help them get there. How much it would help, I don't know, but I believe it would at least be a positive. Now this trade here, this next trade, controversial. I don't know exactly when this was first reported, but I think it's just rumors at this point, but I believe the Colts, after T.Y. Hilton refusing, or they don't like the fact that they're going to be paying him so much or something like that's what the rumor is. I don't remember what article I read it from, but the Colts obviously going to have to be in a rebuilding mode. They are not going to contend anytime soon because they cannot rebuild that offensive line fast enough. And even with Andrew Luck, they're just going to waste away a potential whatever season until they improve. So to improve, they trade T.Y. Hilton to the Dallas Cowboys for possibly a 3rd round pick, or maybe they sweeten it up, get a 2nd round pick from the Cowboys and send a 4th round pick back or something like that. Now, what does this do here? If you look at the depth chart for the Cowboys, Terrence Williams is currently their 2nd on the depth chart. And you have people like Bryce Butler, Switzer, and everything. I do like Switzer as a rookie, but he still obviously needs to improve. He is a rookie after all. But T.Y. Hilton is so much more dominant. You pair him up with Dez Bryant, the Cowboys are probably going to roll through the rest of the season. I want this trade to happen, but for it to happen, the Cowboys do have to create some cap space. So another possible option for them is I can't off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Maybe you get rid of Hannah, who's making $2 million. Maybe you trade him to the tight end needy Seahawks if the Seahawks do make that trade. Maybe you trade away Charles. No, you can't. Charlton's a rookie. Never mind. Don't know what I was thinking. Maybe you trade away Durant. He's not making that much money though. I don't know how you create the cap space, but create it. T.Y. Hilton to the Cowboys would be amazing for the franchise. Now this next one is definitely controversial, at least to most. I believe right here, the New England Patriots. Let's say you look at the wide receivers. Edelman's hurt. Hogan's most likely hurt for an extended period of time. He's getting an MRI today. Brandon Cooks, Amendola, and Dorsett are now the top 3 receivers, which is concerning. Mitchell might be coming back, but then again, he might not. I don't know if he'll be designated from IR. But let's say you just put Philip Dorsett, who would be their 3rd wide receiver if Hogan's missed for an extended period of time. Now, I know the Patriots don't have much cap room, so maybe they wiggle around. But I believe the Patriots, because there's rumors, and I do like this rumor, that's why I put it up here, trade to the Detroit Lions Not for anybody on their active roster. And as soon as I say that, I know you know what I'm thinking. The New England Patriots trade for the rights to Calvin Johnson from the Detroit Lions. I know Calvin Johnson's retired and he says he wants to stay retired, but he also said he retired because he hated losing, and that's all the Lions really did with him. But if he joins a New England Patriots team, he's going to be on an instant contender. He's going to instantly contend year in and year out, at least for the next couple years if he plays more than 1 year. And at this rate, if it's feared that it's a broken arm or a broken collarbone or something like that for Chris Hogan, because he did get hit in the arm bicep straight from a helmet, so it's not looking good. I believe this helps out both teams. It does give the Lions another draft pick to build with. Maybe it's a seventh, maybe it's a sixth. I don't think the Patriots trade too high of a pick for Calvin Johnson. Otherwise, Bill Belichick will never make the trade, but I do love it as a potential trade. Will it happen? Probably not, but I do like it. Again, we have the Colts looking for their future. And what I mean by that is they trade Vontae Davis, corner, who's making a ton of money, to the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs here. Now, I know people might be thinking, well, the Chiefs' defense is solid. Well, if you watch them play, they're not really that solid. They got Marcus Peters, one of the best corners in the league. But if you look at their depth chart, they kind of suck. So, even next to their second string, I believe Vontae Davis provides an instant punch to that defense, gives them a little extra motivation. I believe they trade him for a fifth-round pick, something like that, something to build the Colts around. Because I believe even though Andrew Luck is like in his prime and constantly hurt, the Colts need to think about a rebuild, especially on offense, because Frank Gore's getting old. Mac behind that offensive line isn't going to do anything, so they need to stock up on draft picks, and trading away Vontae Davis might just be a way to do it. Next, we have 3 trades left. I don't know why I just did that. We have the Buffalo Bills trading away a player. Now, this is what I mentioned earlier. I'm not quite aware if he's a left tackle or right tackle. I do apologize for that. But we have Cordy Glenn, who is a decent offensive lineman, going to the Denver Broncos. And just for that, I'm going to compare them here. The Broncos struggle on the offensive line. I believe their Menelik Watson is their starting right tackle here. Now, maybe you shift Cordy Glenn to right tackle, who knows, but the Broncos, if they're going to compete, need a running game. If they're going to even have a chance at the wild card, need a better offensive lineman. Cordy Glenn might be available for the right price. I say maybe a 6th-round pick or maybe a 5th. Who knows, they might pay a 4th and receive a 6th back, something like that. But this would help benefit both teams. It would clear some cap space for the Bills to make the Jeremy Hill trade and re-sign him. And it wouldn't necessarily hurt their offensive line too much, but it would also greatly improve the Denver Broncos offensive line, which is exactly what they need. Now, this guy I know for sure is being shopped. He's been shopped for a little while now because he doesn't quite fit the system he's in. But we have Carlos Hyde. Now, there's a lot of teams who could use a running back like Carlos Hyde because he's dominant. He actually is quite dominant on the right team. Now, the team I believe that needs him the most is the Baltimore Ravens. Terrence West, not quite doing it. Alex Collins is their lead back right now. He's not quite doing it. Javoris Allen's not quite doing it. They have so many running backs, but none of them are really that good. So, say you trade Carlos Hyde for a 4th-round pick or something, or maybe you throw in someone who fits the Niners scheme a little better, like maybe an Alex Collins or something like that. But I like what Carlos Hyde would add to the Ravens. I believe he would make their offense better, relieve some pressure off of Joe Flacco, maybe creating more opportunities for the pass game, maybe turning the Ravens season around a little bit. Not going to say a lot, but maybe just enough for them to snag one of those last wild cards because it's a tight race right now, and they need to do something to keep pace. Now, this next trade, never going to happen, but I would love, love, love if it would happen because it would just be one of those trades that just smacks you right in the face. We have the New York Giants trading Eli Manning. Now, this is a popular one because a lot of people want this trade to happen. I don't know why. Eli Manning getting traded to the Jaguars. Now, for what for exactly? Maybe a third or second round pick. The Jaguars already have such a good young core. I don't necessarily know if they need too many draft picks, so maybe a third or a second will do. Now, what other options do they have? Like if in this trade, maybe they do a trade away, like a Eli Manning for a Blake Bortles, just for the fact that with Eli Manning, the Jaguars would get a more I I feel like I'm going to choke on it saying a more consistent quarterback because it's Eli Manning, but a more consistent quarterback than Blake Bortles, a smarter, savvy veteran, and the Giants would get back either a high draft pick, which they need, or maybe they get Bortles, and with Odell Beckham next year, they get to really see if they have a long-term solution because Eli Manning's not going to be around much longer. Maybe 5, 6 more years. So, and he's going to start slowing down. You can kind of see it a little bit in his like throwing motion and his thought process right now. You kind of want to get a quarterback that's going to be in his prime and match up well. I don't think Bortles would be too bad in a Ben McAdoo system. I just believe the offensive line would need to be better, and it would be kind of a weird trade in the sense that both quarterbacks are kind of inconsistent this year. They both lost their number one receiver. They both play with a dominant defense. But Eli Manning would have Leonard Fournette, and that's something he has not had in forever. So, as loyal as Eli is, maybe he pushes for this trade. Who knows? This 10th trade was just like a fantasy trade thing. This is like most likely not to happen, but I would love it. Love it if it happened because the Jaguars solution, not Blake Bortles. I try to root for him. I tried to, but he's so inconsistent. He's showing no sign of improvement. Plus, getting Eli Manning would open up the door for the Jaguars to maybe pick up a Sam Darnold or maybe pick up someone like that and have Eli Manning like mold him, kind of like Brett Favre molded Rodgers or Bledsoe molded Brady a little bit, something like that. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like. Like I said before, let me know of any trades you would like to see happen before the trade deadline because it's coming and something's gonna happen, but I don't know what.